Greetings and salutations, I am your host Mr. Toffee and welcome to another rendition of KKP Untitled Show, the show where we talk about video games and not figure out what to call ourselves because of so many names being floating around and whatnot. I like random play a lot, but that's already been taken by Zenla Zone Zero. So yeah, we were supposed to do one on Friday, but because of certain developments, aka one that's called K-pop Demon Hunters, I took quite a while doing a bunch of videos of that. I thought, yeah, why not we just save the talky bits, especially when there's an embargo looming around the corner on Monday. So I thought I'll just do this special one, then we'll go back to regular scheduled programming on Friday onward. So you're gonna get an episode this Monday, like today, where the embargo for Death Stranding 2 lifts, and we get to talk about it. Obviously, no spoilers. This is basically our spoiler-free review of Death Stranding 2. So I'm gonna pull up my notes. Maybe I might even talk about Raido Remastered. We'll see. But right now, the main big one is seeing this video popping out at 8 p.m. today, with some gameplay footage stuck in here and there. I was told not to actually release spoilers, because the review is coming out early, and then the early access for the game starts on the 24th. I think it's probably 8 p.m. tomorrow, GMT plus 8. And then the actual release of the game, the non-early edition version, is on the 26th, which should be on a Friday. Wait, today is Tuesday. It's on Thursday night, 8 p.m. So yeah, open up for everybody to play and whatnot. So you're gonna see a lot of pretty cool stuff popping up on the 26th onward. So right now, here are my thoughts about Death Stranding 2. Thanks again to PlayStation Asia for giving us a code. Good stuff right there. Trusting us with this code really early. I think we got this like a month prior, or less than a month. It's still a lot, alright? Yeah, and thank you for trusting us, and on with the show, I guess, for this part, where we're just gonna talk about Death Stranding 2. Spoiler free, of course, no worries. So let's dive right into it. Yeah. Alright, so the premise of Death Stranding 2, as you can tell from all the many trailers that popped up since last year to now, is that yes, you are playing as Sam Porter Bridges, the main character from the first game. After the events of the first game, he went into hiding, and then now he's given the task once again to connect Australia. So he has to basically go to wherever he's supposed to go to and end up going through an area that leads him to Australia, through a bunch of series of sci-fi stuff that happens, and then you are back to, I guess you start off at like the west part of Australia, and then you eventually have to connect every part of Australia. So of course there are BTs to deal with. This is the weird world of Death Stranding, where you have to deal with ghost beach things and two different planes of existence, which is the Death Stranding world, the real world, and also the beach world, which is its own slew of sci-fi nonsense going on. Yeah, and as you progress through the story, you get flashbacks of Sam's past life and all the other stuff that happens, like I guess many years before the whole UCA thing happened and the whole chiral network was even created in the first place. Really cool stuff. Yeah. So the way it's been presented is very AAA, very big budget, where you are in media res at the part where at the top of the mountain, very cinematic way of starting, where basically Sam is standing atop a hillside with his baby Lou, and then you gotta walk down, and then the credits hit. You got the directed by Hideo Kojima. It's very cinematic, to say the least. Very like, you know, Hideo Kojima and Kojima Productions, and you know his work in Konami back before the whole kerfuffle that happened. He's always been very cinematic of his work, even back in the MSX days, where limitations are the only things that's keeping him strained. And then now with the world as his oyster, Kojima goes all out in giving us the best kind of presentation. Awesome music that's contemporary, stuff from Gen Hoshino, Woodkid, and I guess Loror, the deceased guy, yeah, and everyone else and whatnot, and a lot of really cool atmospheric and even dramatic music from Ludwig Göransson, the composer. You've got like original compositions and licensed music blending in well together for this one cinematic post cinematic adventure about a postman, more or less. Yeah, something tells me that Hideo Kojima is a fan of the postman, but he's thinking, what if I could do it better and, make the world more effed up than before? And lo and behold, the first Death Stranding on 2019, and then I do feel that the first game had quite a few flaws in terms of it being too padded out. Like, I've never known Kojima for making boring games, so it's very surprising that Death Stranding did kinda had this very monotonous, although Zen-like kind of quality going on with its pacing and story and whatnot, with I guess some action to go into it, but maybe it's just sparse. That's all fixed in Death Stranding 2, so without going to spoilers, there's a good balance of delivery, Zen-like traveling, packaging, delivering moments, and also a lot of fight scenes and boss fights and something you expect out of a traditional video game created by one of the greats, one of the many authors of video games. So in essence, he did the tweaking and the balancing just right, to the point where I actually remember a lot of things like the non-action and the action bits and the cutscenes in between that happens, yes. So again, the presentation is top-notch. There is no complaints about how it looks, definitely. The Decima engine that's powering the entire game does its job really well. The landscape and the vistas and the way it portrays Australia, from the outbacks to the desert to even like the man-made snow that happens at the center of the map and everything. Yeah, you will come across snow. This is all in the trailer, so that's not really spoilers right there. And traversing around it, whether you're in a vehicle that you create, you got the tricycle, and you've got like the truck. I forgot the name, eludes me, but it's a truck. You can put in a lot of packages in, but not as mobile as a tricycle. And you can even walk, and you even got like little floating carriers you can carry around, carry your packages and tails with you while you're walking around. And you can even surf on the thing. Yeah, really cool stuff. And you actually get more items that you, by connecting and delivering packaged goods and whatnot, equipment to make the connection work. You'll get more and more equipment to help you in your journey to make your life easier. And it's not just you. When you connect online in the game, you will also come across structures created by other porters and other copies of Death Stranding played by other journalists around the time. So obviously when the game is out in public, you'll find packages and structures created by other people. I mean, you're not actually teaming up, there's no multiplayer, it's still a single player game. But when you connect online and you get integrated and whatnot, you'll see a bridge built by Ose or Yongye or Danny O'Dwyer or someone from Last Stand Media or whatnot, and even some of my pals. I think I saw one of our pals, a friend of the show, Macronos from Gamer Matters. I saw him building his thumbprint or a vehicle he left in the, I guess where the data scientist is, one of the outback areas per se. It's again, the landscape's really beautiful. You got so many places. You got beached areas. You've got like the corals and the rocky areas, the beaches, red rocks. Basically Australian stuff lah. Basically the wildlife and whatnot. Even bushfires actually make an appearance in the game. Really, nothing to be messed with. Yeah. And gameplay, like I said, there's actually more combat in this game, where the controls are about the same as the first game, but I guess you can switch to weapons quicker. You get to quick swap. You get to hold the button to actually pause the entire game and select what you need, whether it's equipment or like cosmetics, or most importantly, you want to switch to equipment, so you can switch to a blood boomerang, by the way, which is used for stealth, or if you want to face enemies head on, pull out your minigun. What was it? No, heavy machine gun or a minigun, or light machine gun, or assault rifle, or a shotgun, or a chiral cannon, which basically you put on the ground and you fire out chiral crystals into people's faces to destroy them. Or you could just build a catapult and launch bombs, from far away where the chiral network is, so you can throw packages or throw bombs to an enemy location. You want to throw packages to your delivery target, right? And for the enemies at the bases, you can also build a watchtower. You can see what's going on at a distance, and you can calculate how many enemies you have to fight or kill off knock out before you can proceed, neutralize the area. You can't kill people, because when people die in this world, they explode into a void out. So that's what you want to avoid. You get different sorts of weapons. I guess my favorites would be, you got a rocket launcher, grenade launcher, remote grenade launcher. My favorite's still the light machine gun, because lots of bullets, long reload time, but it really packs a punch, especially when dealing with some of the boss BTs you fight. Yes, they are boss beach things you fight. There's a lot more of these this time around. You got flying ones, you've got tiger ones, you've got crab ones. There's a lot, nice variety of enemies you fight, even the small ones. Although I think most of the time that's where my stealth comes into play, where basically I just avoid the entire area or just sneak around, hold my breath. Because when you hold your breath, when you use your radar, you can actually see the BTs, the umbilical cords coming up the cases. And you want to make sure that the baby is, kept, quiet. Otherwise, if the baby is agitated, your radar system does not work. Yeah, so it's got a really unique system there, and makes what you think, when I describe it, people might think that, delivering packages and sticking around ghosts sound a bit less exciting than shooting them in the face. But trust me when I say, like, even with my current aggressive playstyle, sticking around and just driving around the area and just going through the really beautiful landscape is a really awesome experience. Like, controls are great. I just like the music it plays, the visuals, and if I want to go into combat, yeah, I can. And what's really cool about some of the fights is, especially the more gated boss fights, where you can't actually escape unless you die or repatriate, where Sam has the power to resurrect himself. You basically can just you actually can get help from people. Like, if you just press like the middle touchpad, you get to call out, and people from online will start throwing weapons at you. I saw some of these journalists and the content creators names from the tar emerging, and they have the miniguns or the assault rifles or the shotguns or the bombs they throw, the grenades they throw at you, so you can use them for your own side. So you're never out of ammo regardless of the fight you're in. I mean, yes, they can be placed far away, and if you play offline, it might be a bit more troublesome if you don't prepare ahead of time, but you're not stuck. You will not get stuck in a boss fight. You will eventually kill them just great. You will get challenged, of course. And yeah, it's just well designed, and it's just really fun, make for a very seamless action delivery experience. And that's all I can say. I mean, because all the other stuff I want to talk about is story, and really I can't get into that. What I can say is, yeah, it's 30 plus hours. It is definitely overarching and very detailed in its plot, and you've got a lot of flashbacks coming in, and you've got, like, I guess some of the characters who are in the trailer include Fragile, Deadman, Heartman, the bad guy Higgs, voiced by Troy Baker. We also got new characters like Tarman, the pilot of your ship called the DHV Magellan. Yes, DHV Magellan. And that thing actually does carry you around, and that's also one way to fast travel from one end of the continent to the other at times. You also got a pregnant woman named Rainy. She can summon rain. And you've got a mysterious girl named Tomorrow, and a possessed doll named Dollman who acts as your navigator and who can assist you by being like a spy. So you can actually throw him to like a faraway area, and then he can zoom back in, so he can tell you what's actually ahead in time and whatnot. So you can he's basically an extra set of eyes camera, that you can use if you want to sneak around. So, but generally I don't. I think for the latter half of the game, I just went inside guns a blazing with all the equipment, so you can see my porter Sam, having like such a huge backpack and some stuff with utility work and whatnot. So again, it caters to many playstyles, which I really like. And of course, there's a whole connectivity thing going on, so you can get extra equipment or extra structures helping you out to your journey. So that's pretty much the vision realized. And this is an expensive game, and without spoiling the story, this is definitely the game that caps off. I mean, yeah, it does cap off it's a complete tale. Let's just say that. There might be allusions to a sequel, but for the most parts, if let's just say through some bad luck that Kojima Production says, no, we're not doing another Death Stranding, this is like the nice bookend, a nice big epic bookend to the Death Stranding series. Short of VR missions coming in, like a Metal Gear Solid Substance and whatnot, like the extra shit. Speaking of VR missions, yes, you actually get to go on the VR thing, where if you're in Sam's room or any of like a DMV room, relaxation spot. You get to customize your backpack. You get to put in like extra batteries or extra ammo to your backpack. You know, and also sleep and whatnot. You actually get to go to a VR room where you can actually test out your weapons and test out new equipment you get, and you'll be getting quite a bit. So trying to do that and do some of the missions to get a good grade and all that, good bragging rights, and some rewards here and there. Yeah, really cool stuff. Yeah, there's so many options, in that serves to the whole delivery and action set pieces you get in Death Stranding 2. So would I recommend Death Stranding 2? Yeah, of course. Definitely. And you don't actually need to fully complete Death Stranding 1, although it does help. The game has like a corpus compendium that just basically fills you in. And when you start the game, when you click the first thing, like the story recap, you get like a slideshow that tells you about what's going on. So really, you don't really need to play the first one. It does help get some context, of course, but at the end of the day, if you just want to jump straight into getting into a really good Kojima game experience with the shooting and the delivering and all the weird nonsense and the storytelling in between with the Hollywood A-listers he met, like Guillermo del Toro and Elle Fanning. Yeah, this is a great way to get into it. It's worth the money, definitely, for a AAA game. It really shows, and you gotta get a lot of hours out of it. Like, it's like a 35 plus hour game. Like, I'm taking away, I mean, I did some of the sub orders here and there, but only because I just want to see the payoff for some characters like the pizza delivery man or the data scientist. Yeah, you'll get a kick about seeing the data scientist, and also other characters. Like, there's a character called the Adventurer, but I cannot go far detail to that. He's got a really cool subplot right there. But generally, yeah, it's worth the money. That's for sure. Like, you got a PS5, yeah, go for it. Just check it out. You can check out a full review on Kakuchopurei.com. I've got a more detailed write-up here and there, and the score, which I believe is like a 90 out of 100, but generally it is one of those games you just gotta buy. Is it gonna dethrone Clair Obscur Expedition 33? Not quite. I feel that there's a bit more controversy with how Expedition 33 ended. But again, we'll see down the line. But I like what I played. It's really enjoyable. I feel that Death Stranding 2 worked out the kinks that were in the first game, the base game at least, the 2019 version. There's a lot more gunplay, which I enjoyed. I like the good balance between, relaxing, delivering, and also the story about Sam and how he deals with, the story of grief and whatnot throughout the journey by taking his baby along for the ride and meeting up the characters like Fragile and Higgs and, Dollman and, Tomorrow and all the other named characters in there, trying to get, but it's not a subtle game, that's for sure. It's not a subtle storyline. It's very on the nose. It's a lot of Kojima isms that if you are not a fan of, it's not going to change your mind. If you really hated Death Stranding 1, this might change your mind with the shooting and all that, a bit more action oriented and a lot more freedom with how you handle things here and there. I think there was only one mission where it's timed, and then that's about it. Every other mission just required, the main missions anyway, they just made me be careful with the package and, don't damage it too much. And some may explode in your face, but those are, alright, I think most of the focus would still be on the boss fights and getting prepared for said fights, and the battles and whatnot. So yeah, I think there's a lot of little nice tweaks and options, like, adding in extra batteries to your backpack, so you power, and wearing the armor suits and whatnot to power up Sam's moves, whether you want to carry more or move faster or just battle harder. And, equipping your vehicles with like additional add-ons like the sticky camera to grab packages while you're driving, and yeah, auto turret cannon and, extra batteries to make it last longer. So, and also upgrading structures and all that, helping out your fellow man, building bridges. Yeah, a high recommendation from Mr. Kakuchopurei. Thanks again for hearing this. I'll probably talk more about other games like Raido Kuzunoha, and other titles in the other recording, probably on the Friday. Yeah, because I want to let the videos we did on Saturday, on Friday mostly, and Saturday, sit and get all the views and whatnot. So yeah, thanks again for sitting and checking out this review of Death Stranding 2, which should be out the next day on the 24th by the time this recording is done. And yeah, do check out more of our content like K-pop, Demon Hunters, and CEO highlights. and other features on our write-ups and on our Twitter page. Yeah, Kakuchopurei, kakuchopurei.com. Yeah, do like and subscribe to our page, and yeah, that's it. See you on the other side, everybody.